But I love it. Already in chat, someone asks, why so nationalism? Yo, for those who don't know, for those who are not cool enough to be in the know, I am one of the very few, the rare, Canadian StarCraft 2 casters. So I'm very happy to be here, very happy to be covering a lot of these matches. The Canadian Championship was the one on Monday I was referring to specifically, where we saw Masa surprisingly not only knock out Scarlet, but like beat Kane 2 times in a row and become the #1 Canadian to get through. But oh crap, hang on. Before we get into the action of things, Mr. Boris Makarov, dude, I need to go tally up. This guy has like donated a ton to the channel at this point. Like seriously, super generous dude. Says, it's time! Hyped for more IEM action! All the best to you, Rifkin, as always. Can we get a hype train going? Whoop whoop! $50 coming from Mr. Boris Makarov. That's a way to start the morning. And you know what, guys? What that just did was bought you the most minimal amount of commercials I could possibly play today. So sit tight, sit back, enjoy as we get into this first match. This best of 3 for IEM Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, at the bottom right corner of the map, starting this morning off strong. You might not have an official team, but from, of course, the clan Do You Know, with MC and many others, it is the Red Terran player Yoda. And his opponent in the upper left, playing for Team Liquid, it is, of course, the Blue Zerg player Snute. Now, Yoda, I mean, here's the thing. I'm pretty positive most of you have seen Snute at some point. I hope I don't need to sell him to you. If I do, I think most other StarCraft 2 commentators are not doing their job. Yoda, though, this guy who was just like God mode Korean for the longest time, came to Europe, started training over here. We haven't seen a whole lot of crazy, insane results out of him, but it's Yoda, it's MC, it's Hyun. I mean, it's all the guys in the gem house that keep getting invited back to like stage 2 of the events. They're given seeds for things. We see them in constantly and the go for StarCrafts and the Zotecs, and I mean, there's good reason for it. These guys are fantastic players. I think IEM would be the perfect stage for Yoda to get a chance to really set himself, I guess, up there. It's weird to consider because a lot of the esports focus of the world has really shifted more towards the European scene, which is why specifically you're seeing a lot of Koreans and stuff sort of, I guess, shift focus over here. But I'm really curious to see how he'll do in this tournament. Like, he's the, I wouldn't say the wild card, but like the personal favorite wild card, I guess, because that makes sense. On the other hand, we got Snute, who, like I said, I don't think I really need to build him up. He's actually just going for a pretty standard opener. We went to hatch first and all that. I would love to meet this man at IEM Toronto. I would love to go up and shake this guy's hand. Snute's one of the nicest players I've interacted with since we started doing a lot of the show match stuff, since we started doing a lot of the base trade TV stuff. So, I have no idea who's actually going to take it today, because all 16 players today are absolutely fabulous. Let's not forget, shout out to our co-caster, Namshar, who's, I think, starting against Hyun today. Yikes! But he's had a lot of ZVZ practice, so hopefully he'll do okay. But TVZ's in a very funny spot right now. For those who don't know, there was a patch not too long ago, and that's why we have all these stupid little hats on the drones and the workers. The hats, just as a quick explanation, of course, from the 4th anniversary of StarCraft 2. Woo! 4 years! 4 more years! But one of the big things that came with it was a buff to the Widowmine. Now, it's not, I think some people like classify like, is that a buff? Oh, nice build cancel. When it's really almost like putting back the Widowmine to where it once was. Not fully like the original Widowmine of days of old, and I was giving misinformation because I explained it very poorly last time we were casting, but for those who don't know, the Widowmine's splash radius no longer segments out. So like, for example, you know, this would be like 100% damage, and then this would be like 50% damage, and this would be like 25% damage. Now it's just full damage the whole way through. The downside of this, though, from what we're seeing, is like, well, there's a lot more volatile. We're seeing a lot more Baneling connects and a lot more Zerglings pop off. We're also seeing a lot more friendly fire go off. I'm not sure if Yoda is really embracing the Widowmine yet or not. I think every Terran player would agree it's better that it's stronger, but I've seen so many medevacs and Marines die since the patch, casting IEM, casting anything really, or just watching casual games. But oh, Reaper almost gets caught. I mean, it's going to go down. It's the downside to being a Reaper when there's Speedlings in play. But Yoda, not gonna have to give up this base. I mean, he might lift it, but this gonna cost him a couple SCVs, unfortunately. Does get caught out here a little bit with his pants down. Was not ready for this early Speedling aggression coming out of Snute, and this is something that I like a lot, actually. Of course, we were fortunate enough to have players like Life join us on the big one recently, the tournament we threw on Base Trade TV, and We were seeing a lot of Ling aggression out of him too. Nothing so dedicated to an all-in, but specifically instances like this where you send a couple Lings early. Yeah, it costs you a couple of bucks, but you kill a few of your opponent's workers. You stop them from muling the natural, and of course picks up a supply depot here too. So for Snute, I mean, what'd that cost him? 17 Lings. Let's say, even though, yeah, it comes out cost efficiently down here. Sniping off that Reaper certainly helped as well, but Roach Warren, we might see that sort of get a wall off. I mean, he died. He went for a third wall. This was going on. For those who didn't see, I didn't bring attention to it. Of course, we had the drone sneak out behind this, but one of the other benefits too is by providing that amount of pressure, it's Yoda not coming to your front door. It's not Yoda knocking down your creep tumors or getting to your drone line. And Snoot's made a perfectly adequate amount of Lings behind this without over-dedicating. Team Liquid Zerg players, of course, always float their drones high, and not all surprised to see Snute looking pretty good in that regard. Let's see here for Yoda, though. Back at home, he's going to have to worry about some roaches soon, and this could be problematic, because here come the Hellions to do some harass. They're going to scout the Roach Warren, which usually comes down anyways, but when you see it without the evolution chambers, that's usually the key. That's like, oh, hey, wait a minute, maybe you're looking to be a little bit more than simply defensive, but defensive he shall be. Roaches are going to be able to take care of these Hellions, no problemo. Yoda, on the other hand, has got to get back home, scoot his boot, because right now, one of the problems is he doesn't have multiple bunkers down. There is no siege tank in the main, and more importantly, because he didn't open Hellion Banshee. Oh god, he's not even a full wall. Oh, Yoda. I think Yoda might. Oh, I don't want to call it right now, guys, but I think Yoda might be dead. This is gonna be an insanely hard hold. He's gonna repair this all day, and there won't be the banlings, but this isn't your typical 6 to 8 roaches, yo. This is him gonna be able to like 2 volley down through workers, maybe, I don't know. Yoda keeps the Hellions on the other side of the field because I think he knows like they're gonna be absolutely worthless versus roaches in the first place. But Snute not choosing to bully down the bunker, instead just starts focusing a lot of the SCVs. This is not a terrible choice considering just how low the DPS is here on the defense for Yoda. But he's actually repairing some of the SCVs, which is hilarious because that means he's not repairing the bunker. Oh, that's gonna sting. To explain what happened, it wasn't that he was manually repairing the SCVs, but every Terran player's experienced this at some point. You think, okay, I'll just turn auto repair on, no problem. Well, the SCVs are like, oh, dude, the bunker's full health, but my buddy's hurting. I'll stop repairing the bunker and I'll go repair this SCV over here. And that happened with about 3 or 4 of them. So whether that was intentional out of Snute or mismicroed or coincidence, either way, that did sting a little bit. But because he did not commit to this, you know, this was meant to be just a little bit of damage for low cost of units, he backs away. Now, I think if this had been a 3-base Roach Baneling on initially, that would have been like an auto GG, because it just really wouldn't have been anything to stop it, especially with that one bunker going down. But Snute is now getting a Baneling Nest. He's got a layer on the way. I mean, he's getting towards that standard tech, and while it's certainly within the realm of possibility he goes something like Roach Baneling all in at this point, chances are he's just looking for that proper mid-game, having used the sort of early-game damage and panic to accelerate himself towards the macro game, and he's done, quite frankly, exactly that. Combat Shield's not quite done, halfway finished here for Yoda. Not that big of a deal right now, but still with no Banelings in play, he'll be okay. It's always a little bit scary though, because of course you want to have those Combat Shields. Banelings are so volatile as is. Every bit of health helps, and that extra 10 is fantastic, because of course you always lose 10 every time you want to stim, and well, that's no good for Marines. But looking to push out, I don't disagree with the choice that he might feel pressured to be a bit aggressive, but I think every Terran player's also been under the experience where you push out too soon, expecting your opponent to have just droned, and it's not the case for Snute. He did drone. He's up to 70 drones. He's taking a 4th base. Everything for him's looking absolutely dandy as far as Zerg goes, but he's got Lings, he's got Banelings, he still retained those Roaches. He didn't throw them away at the wall. And of course, 1-1's on the way. Speed's on the way. In fact, he might have to cancel the 4th, but really, I think that's about it. Looks like he's gonna try to hold on to this. I don't know. He's taking slow Banelings off of creep with Roaches. Not the worst, craziest thing I've ever heard of, but I mean, he's got a lot of them. He's got a lot of them, and I guess if you've got enough of something, well, doesn't end up being worth it. Hatchery dies, not cancelled. Snute, oh my god, so screwed now. I don't know how, but a small amount of Lings gets into the natural base. Because, like, legit, there's Marines sitting right here, but okay, I guess the depot's down for just a moment too long. Queen's transfusing each other, trying to keep the medevacs back. Mutalisks are finally on the way, and he's trying to reestablish that 4th. One of the things for Snute, though, is this base, guys. I love this base as a 4th. You know, I am not a Zerg player, and I'm most of the time not a Zerg fan because I'm the Terran loser in this matchup, but when you see Zerg players take this base over here, a lot of the times it's so open to pressure and splitting the map left and right. One of the big things by taking this base as your 4th, you're no longer going to get split left and right as hardcore. You're still going to have drops try and pick you apart, like we see. Yoda going to go in the main, 2-pronged attack, but it's a lot quicker to respond from this 4th than it is to respond from the other 4th. Cancel needs to go down. This base is absolutely going to die. Mutalisk on top of the medevacs now. Oh, Yoda's going to lose 1 full medevac, almost 2. Banelings and Roaches are more than sufficient to hold the line here, and as these boosters run out, he's gonna lose another full medevac. Oh, the pain! I can feel like it feels like I'm having just pangs right now. That sucks for Yoda. There's 3 overlords here for free though. Snutes, oops. There's 1. Yeah, this supply block him actually. Bit of a nuisance, but 8 more overlords are on the way because you know that's hashtag Zerg. But okay, there's some Widowmine set up here really nice. We're going to see some very volatile explosions. You guys should be noticing a lot more blood on the ground. That Widowmine splash damage is fantastic. And the best part was no friendly fire. Not yet, at least. Snute now recognizing that he's going to start needing some overseers. We're probably more of 1 or 2 in. Yeah, he's already got 1 with the mutas. Drilling Claws on the way. This is really important. Widowmines have one very unique advantage to them, and someone actually made a Reddit thread about this earlier. When unburrowed, they have this really awkward non-priority for whatever reason. So what this means is like they can walk through a crowd of like banelings on A move as long as there's marines nearby shooting type thing. And with Drilling Claws, it makes their burrow almost instantaneous. So if you want to get under flock of mutas, 5 Widowmines, Drilling Claws, bam! Zerg players not sticking around to fight that, they're running for the hills. But Yoda not in a terrible spot, putting the pressure on quite nicely. He's also getting ready to take a 4th behind this. Snute has been so pressured here at the zone 4th. I think the only thing that would make this an easier defense is like he's got good units for it, but we really need to see some extra creep. Every engagement he's trying to take right now keeps pulling him off of the creep. But wait, Swarm Host. Oh, okay, this is kind of cool. So I don't think Snute's gonna go super heavy into the Swarm Host, guys. We'll probably see like between 7 and 10, I imagine. Like Snute is one of the Zerg players who loves Swarm Hosts. You know, maybe not because he chose to, but they've got him some good success in the past. And one of the cool things Swarm Hosts are going to be able to do here is provide a little bit of extra DPS while triggering the mines for free. You start to see this logic later on with Brood Lords. It's not something we're going to have the benefit of this early, but Swarm Hosts come out, and the DPS of Locusts without any upgrades are actually fantastic versus small health units like Marines, like this Bioforce. So as we see, it's not going to stop this single-handedly, but it's going to soak up a lot of the Widowmine hits. It's going to snipe off some of the Marines. Medevacs, that friendly fire is talking about, guys. Nothing that shoots up, but these Medevacs are all half dead. Son of a gun, Terran. But he's got to be careful. This hatchery is getting really low, and there are no transfuses. Quite frankly, Yoda could probably snipe this and just try and get on out of here. But Widowmine's coming off the cooldown, ready for round 2. Medevacs have got to be careful. God, it's such a danger zone, but Snute does pop off a transfuse, another one comes down as well. More Swarm Hosts here on the front lines. We're seeing a bit of an over-dedication at the moment. Mutalists start harassing the other side of the map, but as we see, doesn't get a lot done with a couple Thors here on the defense. So right now, Snute's up to 14 Swarm Hosts. This is, I would say, honestly, kind of the sweet spot for Swarm Host numbers. He could still go a little bit more heavy if he wants to, but as far as dealing with the Widowmines, this is kind of, I don't know, perfect. As we see, they've been soaking up a lot of the hits. The only thing I kind of wish is Snute would get a couple Overlords here, or Overseers here, rather, to snipe off the rest of them. But retaining a lot of his gas now, hoping to get those Banelings. Let's not forget, guys, Swarm Hosts cost about 100 gas each, so every Swarm Host you make is like 4 less Banelings, basically. 1 less Muta, and they're very expensive that you can't quite afford to lose them for free. But Widowmines are being finally cleared out of the battlefield over here. Snute's got a comfortable-ish 4th. We see him not transferring drones because there's still a lot of pressure coming in the front lines, but Yoda, I think, with like 1 good stim could wipe out a good couple of the Swarm Hosts, but he'd never be able to fully take on this army. And I think he knows it as well, but fighting against relentless Locust Waves like this is just costing him so much money from the bank. Widowmine's still going off on absolutely nothing, but we got Zerglings coming out of plenty. We got Mutalists starting to stack up. Snute did lose a couple of those to the Thors and the Marines, but this base is finally going to go down, and Snute has to give up some land here for a moment, albeit temporarily. But this almost works out better, the fact that the base finally went down. This is the breathing room I think he needed to get those creep tumors out, to start setting up the battlefield, so to speak. Because, again, everything that's going wrong for him right now isn't his engagement, and it's not about the fact that he's got the wrong composition, per se. It's just that he's forced to fight so much of this off creep. How many banelings have died trying to roll into the Marines just saw the edge of this creep in the last few minutes? I mean, we can show you this, but it doesn't really reflect well. 24 banelings actually physically sniped off, but the banelings that actually explode on nothing don't get counted, sadly. Now here's where the danger of Swarm Host really starts kicking in, guys. He's got to keep an eye on where Yoda is at all times. He's got to know exactly where this army is, because to unburrow and reburrow Swarm Hosts, that's not so difficult. But to work around their cooldown timer, that certainly is. I said Snute wasn't going to over-dedicate to this, but I take that back. We actually have, rather than going for Hive Tech and getting things like Vipers out, he's going for +2 ranged weapon upgrades. He's investing a little bit here into the Swarm Hosts. I really thought we were going to see him go super muta heavy. We're going to see a lot of Lings and such, but you know, you don't see this versus Bio a lot. I have seen it a couple times, but it's one of those like once in every like 200 games scenarios. I don't know if he can make this work. If there was one StarCraft 2 player that I had faith in to make Cash Host work, it's probably Snute. So we'll see if he can hold this. But, oh, Amita's bleeding out over here. A little bit of miscontrol out of him is going to cost him quite a few of these very expensive units. Everything Snute's working around right now, by the way, guys, is so gas-heavy. Banelings, Swarmos, Mutalisks. Left side of the map over here, completely exposed. Mutalisk being picked off because he's busy focusing up here in the top right. I mean, he's going to hold one of these bases, but not both, sadly. Swarmos are even going to go down to this. More Swarmos rally forward. Snute, oh no, get a hold of yourself. You're being torn apart. And this is the danger of Swarm Hosts. While they're cool, free, awesome, fantastic units, they're not mobile like Lings. They're not able to respond like Mutalisks. And Snute has perhaps made an investment into a unit that will not win him this game. Now trying to reposition them. They're still on cooldown though, so even if he reburrows, there we go, gotta wait for those Lucas waves to come out. But perhaps could have focused this hatchery down if he wasn't busy running away here with the medevacs to get to the army. In fact, he could still probably focus this base down, but still going to take the fire from the Locust nonetheless. Yoda doing some very serious damage here to Snute, because Snute's lost the majority of his mobile army. He's left mostly with primarily Swarm Hosts, and Swarm Hosts will not stop Yoda from winning this game. Pushing up here slowly and steadily into the base. Medevacs healing these units like crazy through this damage. Locust, of course, hit about as fast as, almost as hard as, no, it is hard and almost as fast as High Duelists, but GG is going to be called, ladies and gentlemen, game number 1. Gonna go to Yoda.